Depends on where you're at, I suppose. Looks like we're a little crooked here. There, let's see if we can't straighten that out. Anyway, it is Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everybody out there. Just thought I'd jump in, do a little live. I have a little bit of a conundrum as to what I'm going to do with the truck coming up. Primarily because I've got the new sport bar on here. So in the past, when I've had this bar on trucks, I've added lights and things to the front, or the top, I guess. Haven't really decided what I want to do about that yet. I do have a bunch of lights sitting over there, waiting, I guess, for me to decide, you know, whether I want to put them on or not. I do have the light bar all wired, for anybody who hasn't seen that. The wire is sitting on the sides right here, and obviously I would have to run it down underneath and connect it up to the aux beam switch under the hood. But it runs up to the top. You can see it's laying up here, waiting to be connected, I guess. So I haven't decided whether I'm going to do that or not. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, I do have a mod I'm going to install to the truck today. This is something that's new. These come from Miller Cat, and they are skid plates for the trailing bars, trailing rods, what do you call them, trailing arms, underneath the Tacoma. And where they're at, of course, are these bars that you see that run across. One of those goes over the front here to protect that connection point in the front, and then the other, I don't know if we'll be able to see it, it's kind of tight quarters, is right up in front of that skid plate that I put over the shock mounts that you can see there. So anyway, the idea is to put those on. We shall see. Haven't decided when I'm going to do that yet. Probably going to be today, but it's a simple bolt-on part. Pretty easy to do. And the whole idea behind those, of course, is for protection for those connection points, if you will. To make sure that if anything comes up and hits, you know, if you're out off-roading or something and you're running over rocks and stumps and even divots in the dirt, you're going to slam into those areas, right? Last thing you want to do is to break one of those mounting points for the arms underneath there and then have a problem, especially if you don't have any tools. Could you imagine breaking the front one and it drops down and now you can't drive forward anymore because it's going to catch? Probably going to just break right off the back. I'm sure Toyota probably has some sort of a break point there, so if that happens, the truck obviously is not going to, you know, lift up in the air or do something crazy, right? So anyway, just a little mod I'll get to, should be later today. We shall see. I do want to maybe get the truck up in the air a little bit to put those on if I can. You don't really need to, but I do have a lift over here, so I'm not sure really if the Tacoma still fits on that lift. I hope so, but I'm not positive that it does. And then I was thinking about changing out the tie downs in the truck. I've got these from another truck that I had, a different color of red. And I don't know if you guys can see up in the front. They're a little bit darker, and right now I have this color on the back areas for these tie downs. Again, I don't know if you can see them. Let me get you a little closer. But they match, you can see here and here, they match up with these tie downs, whereas they don't match up in the front. It's kind of a pretty picky little petty thing, but I really do want everything to match up. So I'll probably switch those out and go with this flavor up front, because I think it would just, I don't know, tie everything together and maybe look a little better on the truck. So what do you think of that? Am I being nuts, or is it worth the effort? And there's not much effort. I do have those quick little disconnect things on the ones on the front, so it makes it pretty easy to do. Dustin, good morning, Rob. Dustin, how you doing? Glenn, UB3NV. How you doing? Good morning. So anybody out there got any mods planned for their Tacoma? You know, I know it's the holidays, right? and maybe you get a little bit of Christmas cash, free up a little funding for your Toyota Tacoma. As far as, I get people that ask me primarily on the group, and by the way, if you're not familiar, or maybe you're on the group watching, I don't know. I do have a group, it's called 4th Generation Toyota Tacoma Owners Group, and you'll know you're in the right one because it says by Robmotive right underneath the picture. And I always put pictures up of other people's trucks within the group. If I see a truck that looks really good, or it's a standout, or maybe something unique, or it's just pretty, I'll put it up there as the cover, I guess, picture for the group. But anyway, I get questions in the group, you know, what mod should I do? I had a couple so far this morning, actually. What are the first mods that I should do? Well, I'll tell you, the first mod that I do is always window tint. I love window tint on a truck or any vehicle. It makes it look better, in my opinion, and it is functional, of course. Keeps the sun out of your eyes. It also protects the interior of your truck a little bit. On the Tacoma, I only go with the front side 2 windows because everything else is already tinted, right? So I'm usually trying to match that. Unfortunately, with the tint that I go with, it's the 3M Color Fast. I believe they discontinued, or maybe they were just out of, the 20%. I usually go 20%. They didn't have it, so this time I went 15. It seems to match up just as well to me. It could be a tad darker than what the rest of the truck is. I'm sure it probably is, but nonetheless, works pretty good. After that, kind of depends on what you're looking to accomplish, right? I mean, underneath the truck, obviously, if you get rid of that damn chin strap on the front, you know, that air dam, mine is sitting up there. I'll show you. My air dam is right up there. You can see it laying across the front. So is my skid plate and cat shield. But the skid plate and the cat shield are probably the first 2 if you're looking to protect the bottom of your truck. I mean, if you take that chin strap off, that air dam, then you want to protect everything that's under there, right? Particularly if you're into off-roading and stuff. Miller Cat has that as well. They are the best ones that, in my experience, are out there. And that's really because of the 3 things, I guess. The quality of the part, the ease of installation, and access for changing oil. It always cracks me up. I see folks telling or showing that they bought this new skid plate for the Tacoma, but it doesn't have any access for oil changes. That means you have to take the whole skid plate off every time it's done. Now that could be 1, 2, 3 times a year, whatever. But you know that the more you handle parts, the more you take screws in and out, particularly if somebody else is doing it, the more opportunity there is for damage, right? Either cross-threading the screws, stripping out the screws, wearing the head off the screws, maybe not tightening everything down properly if someone else is doing it. I mean, you're really making it a hell of a lot harder for them. And there's probably a little bit of resentment there, right? You don't want the person changing the oil or working on your truck to be resentful. I don't know. But anyway, you gotta have access points, and those from Miller Cat have a nice big access point, both for the filter in the front. You gotta be able to get your hand up there, and then that oil's gonna come out, right? You don't want it to come out all over the place or all over the top of your skid plate. And then for the draining of the oil in the back, of course, for which, by the way, I highly recommend a Fumato or Fumato, however you pronounce it, oil valve or valve. It just makes it much easier. Once you have it on there, you can release the oil by hand. I love those. I'll be putting one on this truck. After that, we get into probably performance stuff. And I know I talk about them a lot on the channel and in the group. Let's have a little sip of the green nectar here. Still not sponsored, by the way. It's like Mountain Dew doesn't even know I exist. I don't know. But performance parts. I I love acceleration, right? I love the truck to go as quickly as it can when I want it to. So I always do things to the truck that make it better, I guess. And it's not horrid the way it is, but it can be better. The Banks performance parts, they're the way to go. And I say that not because of my relationship with Banks, which obviously I have one, right? But because they have good quality parts that actually frickin' work. I mean, I wouldn't be involved with a company or get behind a company that puts out garbage, right? I mean, that wouldn't be good for me, and it certainly wouldn't be good for anybody that might listen to me, right? So you've got the cold air intake. That thing increases horsepower by over 18. It increases torque by over 17 foot-pounds. And then you've got the boost tubes. They don't really add any more power. They help with acceleration a bit because they let more air smoothly flow through the turbo, right? And then out the other side. They look good too. Awesome looking parts. Quality, as I mentioned. You never want parts that show up that are all scratched to hell or don't fit right. Next up, we got to talk about the pedal monster. You know, for years I talked about the pedal commander. I've had the pedal commander. And then I discovered the pedal monster. And the reason it's better is because of safety features that are in it, I should say. If for some reason it stops working, it's going to revert to factory. You're not going to be stranded on the side of the road. And it has something called tip-in, where you can set the unit to where it kicks in, I guess, so that you don't get any surprises in tight spaces when you hit the gas or the accelerator and it lurches forward, backward, into your garage, into the car behind you, whatever. Nice, good safety features. Of course, it's very capable. Otherwise, has all the different settings and different modes you can choose from. I run Sport 3, Sport 4. Certainly not exceeding its capabilities. There's plenty more oomph to go. But I love the parts. There is, of course, a link down below. We're going to turn this into an ad for a second. There is a link down below. You can save a little bit of money. You can use code Robmotive, lowercase, at checkout. Actually, don't know if it matters, lowercase, uppercase, but technically the code is lowercase. So one thing I do want to mention, if you're interested in the Banks parts, and maybe you're going to buy more than one, say you're going to buy the boost tubes and the intake, or maybe you're going to buy all three or four. Don't forget the iDash Pro, that little device that shows you all the different specs and things on the engine, temperatures, pressures, all those kind of things. But anyway, if you're going to buy more than one, you should buy them at the same time, because that code is only good for one purchase. So save yourself a little bit of money, right? If you buy one thing and then come back a week later thinking you're going to get the same amount off of the next one, the code won't work. I'm just an FYI, I guess. We want to save as much as we can. At least I do. Let's see, comments on here. New wheels and tires and some Bank stuff after the first of the year for my Taco. You're going to love it, Dustin. Awesome stuff for the truck, I got to say. I'm impressed with it anyway. FDLB 99, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. By the way, if you're just kicking in here and you're new, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't before. Don't forget to give the live a thumbs up. Show me a little bit of love, if you would. I would certainly appreciate it. As far as other things then, we've gotten beyond protection in the form of your eyes with window tint and skid plates, cat shields. Never a bad thing to have. I know Toyota stuck the catalytic converter further up into the guts of the truck, if you will, but it is still accessible, and I would hate to see the damage someone would do trying to get that thing out. That's the big problem, right? They're in there hacking and cutting with something, and they're trying to pull that thing out, and they're ripping I mean, it's not worth it. The cat shield, again, from Miller Cat, they offer both, the skid plate, the cat shield, amongst other things. Best one out there I found, because of installation, quality of the part, easy to put on. I will be putting them on my truck. You noticed I showed you they're sitting up top there. I'm waiting for the first oil change. I thought while I'm under there, I'm just gonna do it all at once. Why get under there and do it then? I like to make things as easy as possible, right? So, moving on, what else? Phone mounts. I do have a phone mount in the truck. I'll show you that. And the reason I mention these specifically is because people ask about these things. It is a shelf. It's the shelf, I guess. You can see there. And then I've got the mounts and things on it for cameras because, you know, I shoot videos and things. And then you'll notice a couple buttons on the side. Those I've hooked up to transmitters to operate gates and garage doors and whatever. But it just sits over the edge of your radio screen. I mean, it's pretty simple, right? You can just lift it. I'm trying to do it one hand, but you see there, it just fits over the screen. There's no adhesive or anything, and it doesn't move around. It doesn't vibrate or cause any noise issues or anything like that. It's one of the things that I really like about it. It doesn't drive me nuts when I'm driving the truck. While we're in here, this is the iDash Pro I mentioned. If you're not familiar with that, check that out over at Banks. Really cool little device. It plugs in along with the pedal monster. You do not have to have it with the pedal monster, but it's a good time to install it while you're doing the pedal monster. Why not? Again, make things easier. It's all plug and play. The wire just runs up from underneath here up through the A-pillar cover, and then there's this nice pod here that bolts right into the factory bolt here. Almost looks factory, I think. It's a pretty good look. And I love all the information that it shows you. And you can control the pedal monster through this on the fly if you want. Pretty neat little device. Of course, floor mats. Everybody asks about floor mats, and everybody and their grandmother sells floor mats, right? I mean, it's amazing to me that there's enough money in floor mats that the market is so crowded. Tons of them. Get what you like. I use Lasfits in my truck. They work really well. You can see it says Lasfit here. They work really well. They fit well. I like the flexibility of them. Pretty cool. Now, wheels and tires. Everybody's doing the wheels and tires, right? I went with a 275/70 R18. The truck came with 18-inch wheels, so I kept it the same. I've got the Spike from Outlaw, American Outlaw wheels on it. I think they're pretty cool. The tires, kind of made a little bit of a mistake there, not in size, but in type. They are the 10-ply tire. I believe they're, what is that, an E rating? Yeah, you can see it maybe down here at the bottom. It's overkill. You don't need that. You don't need to haul around all that extra weight, have those extra plies in there. It's just not necessary. Kind of takes away from the ride quality of the truck a little bit. The front, the TRD Pro or Heritage, whatever you want to call it, style grill. This one came from, I think it's Yodaverse, if I remember right. I love it on the front of the truck. Toyota didn't do us any favors, though, when they redesigned this truck. You now have to rip the whole front end of the truck off to be able to change this thing out. And then there's even more behind it, like the shutters and things, or the louvers that are back there. They didn't do us any favors. It can still be done. It's not a horrid install, but definitely more involved than what we've had in the past. I did put lights in there, and while I was doing the grill, I changed out the LED fog lights to amber, I guess, on the front. These come from Cali Raised. I put the different style fang lights in. I wanted pod lights on the fang lights, and Dustin actually turned me onto that from the Facebook group, so shout out to Dustin. But they look really good on the truck. Again, I went with amber because here in Texas, fog is the problem, not snow or anything like that, and I thought amber would be better for fog. We've got the shackles on the front. Those are rough cut trees. They fit really, really well. What else do we have? The LED light bar. It came with the kit, and I highly recommend you do that. If you're going to buy a grill that has a spot for an LED light bar and the company you're buying it from offers the LED light bar. You probably should buy it from them as well, only because you can be pretty sure that it's going to fit properly. I mean, the last thing you want to do is get the grill and then go hunting for an LED light bar on your own and get one that doesn't fit right, or that's loose in there, that bounces around, stuff like that. Just a bummer. Let's see, Leroy Clement, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Good to have you on here. And I just screwed up my whole screen. There we go. So those are the, I guess, the big hitters on the Toyota Tacoma, the things that a lot of people out there are looking to put on or add. And that's the list of things I would do. Of course, there's a myriad of other things that you can do, tons of things that are more difficult to more simple. Just depends on what your skill level is. I've done all of these myself. The only thing I didn't do myself, I guess, on the truck are the wheels and the tires. I mean, I don't have one of those tire machines sitting here in my garage to be able to mount tires, so obviously I didn't do that myself. However, if you buy your wheel and tire set up as a package from one of those online places, and I've done this, like Tire Rack or Discount Tire or whatever, they'll send you the tires and everything that's on them, even the TPMS monitors, and then you can switch them out yourself if you want. They even balance them, so you're going to get tires that are balanced, ready to go. You just swap them out yourself. Of course, the problem with that is you've got to swap them out yourself, so you're going to need a jack, maybe a jack stand, you're going to need a lug wrench of some sort, definitely a torque wrench to make sure you torque those bolts down or lug nuts down correctly when you're done. I did it once on it was a Honda Civic Type R. I ordered winter, or what I was going to use for winter wheels and tires. And they came ready to go. I just swapped them over and everything was set. Really was pretty damn simple. So not a bad idea if you don't want to go sit and wait at an installer and make sure that it's done right yourself, you know. Let's see. Oops, I slipped the spot. This phone, every time I touch the screen, it wants to roll to something else. Dustin, thanks for the shout out. Those pod lights really are sweet. One of my most favorite mounts, already saved several deer and my taco. Hey, it was a great idea, Dustin. Appreciate you showing it to me. And you know, I always love to adopt ideas by other folks in the group or on the channel, because when I see something I like, I generally do it, right? For instance, there's another one. I don't know if you noticed, I'm sure you probably did. There's another one I did, and that, of course, is the black hood scoop. Bought that on eBay. Cost like 60 bucks or something like that. Quality-wise, I would give it an A minus. It's pretty good. I mean, it really is. It is a plastic piece. The only ding I would give it is that when it came, this corner right here had a little chip in it, right? So fortunately for me, the whole part is the same color all the way through. I sanded the edge and kind of made it look like it's supposed to look, I think. Is it perfect? No. Is anybody going to notice? No. One tip, if you're going to do this mod, they do provide replacement little plug-in things, because there's like, I think there's 5 or 6 of them that punch through holes on the truck already existing. There's no drilling or anything. But when you rip this thing off, you're going to destroy the ones that are already on it. So you're going to replace those. And for me anyway, the ones that came with it were not strong enough to hold the front end all the way in. It would pop up a little bit, and you could even see those connectors underneath. No way I would leave that, right? So I put a line of tape all along the front underneath, and it's easy to do, just a thin layer of tape, double-sided, 3M, and use that to hold this thing down, and it's been perfect ever since I've done that. Don't think I'm going to have any issues whatsoever with it. Other than that, there are 4 bolts underneath that you have to remove. They're 10 millimeter. You remove those, and then you just overcome the resistance from the plugs that are in the hood. And it makes it pretty darn simple to do. Anybody can do it. And I gotta say, had I not had this little hiccup here on the edge of the part, it would have been absolutely perfect. That's why I give it an A minus. Otherwise, I think it looks pretty good. And yeah, it's kind of going towards that pro look, right? But that's okay. I like the pro. And then I did change out the mirror caps as well to black. They were color matched to the truck. They were from Sparks Parts. They're OEM caps. I actually had them, I think I had them on one of the 24s that I had. But they fit easily. It is a little bit of a daunting task when you remove them. Just beware. There's a lot of creaking and snapping and crackling when you take these things off and put them back on. Just take your time and be careful. To get them off, I started with a pry tool and my fingernail right in this corner and kind of pulled up right here along the edge and then went up this side. And when you get so far up on the side here, it'll pop. And then you just have to overcome one more little latch down here on the bottom. Typically when I take these off, they go flying across the room because I'm pulling on them, they break free, and then they're freewheeling, right? But pretty simple to do nonetheless. I think the setup on the truck looks pretty good. Of course, it's my truck, you know. With the black accenting along with the rest of the black. The truck is really black and blue, except for my little badge on the front. Got to pub the channel, right? Robmotive. And the white lettering, which I love. It's funny to me, you know, things are cyclical, right? White lettering used to be a thing back in like the 80s, man. You had white Mickey Thompson or Dunlop tires on your junker sports car like I did. I had this old beater Camaro. I had air shocks in the back. I could physically pump up the back so it lifted up in the air. Used to love that. They wouldn't hold, the air would leak. But anyway, car looked great at night, man, because you couldn't see all that rust that I'd spray painted black. But I had white raised letter tires on that and a couple other vehicles. I just think it's a cool look. It's made a comeback. A lot of people are doing it now, and I think it looks really good on the truck. So do what you like, of course. Again, your truck, you got to do what you like to do. Let's check out some comments here. Ant Car, the truck looks great. I'm glad it's sticking around for a while on the channel. The color of the new Jeep is also sick. Yeah, we're going to have this one for a while. I mean, years. Unless Toyota comes out with something that's so earth-shattering. I mean, we're talking about Toyota here, right? How often do they make any big changes? But if they came out with something earth-shattering, might have to consider it, but probably not. Jimmy Pham, how you doing, buddy? Jimmy says, how you doing? I'm doing good, man. Welcome. Welcome to the live. So anyway, that's what I did on the front with the scoop. I do still have, I don't even know where it is. I do still have the OEM version somewhere. Man, I don't know what I did with it. It's here. I didn't get rid of it, I can tell you that much. Oh, it's sitting right there in front of me. Little sip of the green nectar. That's good. So anyway, I just wanted to get in, and actually, I guess the whole point of the video was to discuss putting the lights on the top. What do you guys think? If you're watching this after the fact or now, what do you think of putting lights across the top? And the lights that I'm talking about would probably be this kind of a setup here. Square, even though I would really like to go with the old style big old round lights, you know. Those look really cool, but I already own these, so why go with anything else, I suppose. But what do you think? Put those across the top of the truck, or leave it as is with the sport bar the way it is on the truck right now. Oh, I do have to change out the backing color here. It's orange. I mean, it does match my letters on the front, but I think I'm going to change that out to red, or I may color match it to the truck, blue. It's pretty simple. There's just 2 screws that hold it on. You take it off, spray paint it, let it dry, put it back on. It's not rocket science for sure. Pretty easy. So what do you think? Lights on the top or no lights on the top? Let's see. Oops, I lose my space. Jimmy Pham says, it's been a while. I know, Jimmy. Where have you been, man? Have you been boycotting the channel for some reason? I don't know. Anyway, that's it. I just wanted to get on, kind of talk about that a little bit. Appreciate everybody that joined. I know it was just a off the cuff kind of live, not planned or anything. So it's how I like to do them. You don't get the, I guess, the biggest number of people on here when you do it that way, of course, but nonetheless, it makes it fun to do. Don't forget, check out the group. Let's see, 4th Generation Toyota Tacoma Owners Group. I would appreciate it. And again, don't forget to click that subscribe button if you haven't before. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.